talks from the castle.
Or the castle.
Oh, the
If you're
castle.
a northerner like we are, really.
Yes. So they talk in the UK. Castle or castle. Anyway, welcome. We're talking in this talk about housing and homelessness.
Very good.
Who's ever been homeless? Me. I was homeless when I was 13. I left home at 13.
That's very early to leave home.
Because my dad died, I was very angry, hurt, and upset. I stayed on friends' sofas. They hid me in the house. I did all kinds of crazy things. I was homeless. Then I was homeless when I was 17, 18. I left home again.
Mm.
And homeless is not a good thing to be. Anyway, since then, I've now got a professional diploma in housing, and we help people in housing. And at River Network, we offer information, advice, guidance, and support in homelessness and housing. A lot of people don't realise with the Housing Act, I think 1996, that people don't need to be homeless. If they've got a priority need and local association, then the local council, by law, have got to find them somewhere to live or put them in B&B until they do. That's good. So what you've got to learn to do and encourage others to do is evidence the priority need. If anybody's homeless, come on, you've got to be depressed. You can go to a doctor. I've not got a doctor, people often say. Well, register with one, and by law you've got to have a doctor. Get a letter from them that you've got priority need because of health issues. Prove local association. You could be visiting somewhere for help, support. If you're in Derbyshire, you can come and see us at River Network. Then you'll have local association, priority need. Then the council have got to find you somewhere to live. So that's good, isn't it?
Definitely. Absolutely.
But then there's people who are intentionally homeless who don't want help and
Yes.
support.
Mm-hmm.
And for them, there's not a lot you can do. You can help feed them. We feed people. We do a food bank and food distribution service. But today, whatever time you're watching this, we're talking about homelessness and housing. And there's a great need for it. And that's why we need good charities working with other people in churches and councils and businesses to provide housing. And we're looking to develop more supported housing in Matlock, all around Derbyshire, from Derby all the way to Glossop, Chesterfield, Ashbourne, Bakewell, everywhere in between, that nobody should be homeless in this day and age.
Absolutely.
Talk a bit about your brother who went in like a homeless place, Jill.
He did, yeah. And, the homelessness, you've got to think, like Terry's just described, he was homeless as a teenage boy because he was going through some challenges emotionally, dealing with the death of his dad. So there's all sorts of reasons why people become homeless. They could lose a job, there might be a divorce, a bereavement. And my brother, bless his heart, 5 years older than me, had a lot of challenges, some learning challenges as well. But he also wasn't dealing with personal things. He developed an addiction to alcohol. He was living at home with my parents, but was becoming very difficult for him to stay there. My parents were really worn out trying to help him and support him, but he wasn't really cooperating with that. So decisions had to be made, which then eventually led to my brother being homeless. But he was able to live at a place in the Rotherham area called the Lighthouse Homes. They allowed him to stay, but he was not allowed to drink alcohol there. That was the rule. And this is the challenge sometimes. If people do have life controlling issues through drugs or alcohol, that if they're not willing to deal with that, they're not then able to stay in places because they become a law unto themselves. They become, they won't listen to other people. They won't, it's difficult. It's difficult. People have to cooperate and take responsibility for the decisions that they're making in life and cooperate with people that are trying to help them. So if you need help, reach out for it and actually tell people that you need help and that you
Yes.
have an issue with something. Don't hide it. Oh, I'm fine. You're not fine. If you need help, always better to ask for it and make those changes in your life.
And when you reach out and you get help and support, listen, be flexible. Don't think you know it all because look where it's got you if you're homeless. You may not be homeless watching this, you might have people who work with homelessness. Get in touch with us. We'll work with you. We're developing new housing support and projects across Derbyshire and the UK. Contact us, like, subscribe, share. Tune in again for more 5 minutes.